They have started again. Children of hate are saying that Igbos are minorities in Nigeria. You don't need Igbo votes to win an election in Nigeria, current Nigeria. Igbos have become minority. Buhari told Tinubu, according to a report, that he has tried many times to become president using an Igbo vice and still lost. He said even if he formed an alliance with the Pope, he can never win an election with support from the East, that he needed Yoruba people to win an election. This is coming from a popular bigot. You see, one thing about bigotry is that, for instance, now if Nigeria divides and there's Biafra and Oduduwa, I think this bigot is from is a Yoruba person. They will look for excuse to spew their hate. It is a disease. It is a cancer. Bigotry is cancer. If there is no Igbo to hate, they will not be separating from Ekiti and Oyo, who is more moral. Ibadan people are thieves, are this and that. Don't marry from Ibadan. That is a typical bigot. Now, the opportunity is there. There are different tribes. You have the opportunity to start spewing hatred and saying all sort of nonsense on a particular tribe. Look at Lagos, for example. Apart from the Yorubas, which other tribe? The largest tribe, the Igbos, second largest tribe in the whole of Southwest. Second largest. Look at their voting bloc in the whole of Southwest. It tells you a lot about how afraid the APC were when they started stopping people that look like Igbo from voting in Lagos. They knew that the Igbos have the voting capacity to remove anybody. In the Southwest, Gongo, that he came from, some people had to make an alliance with the Igbos because they know that the Igbos had a lot at stake to vote out and vote in anybody. That is why the measures they took during the last election and other elections was that they found ways of them restricting Igbo from voting and anybody that looks like Igbo. If Igbos, you don't need Igbos to win elections, why stopping Igbos from voting? You don't need Igbos to win an election, why don't you allow them to go for their Biafra? So somebody asked him that question. Then I look at his reply. Somebody asked him, okay, you know that, okay. So I'm asking Nigerian tribal bigots like you a simple question. With this so much extreme naked hatred, why you are still afraid of separation? Why are you still afraid of separation? Instead of wasting so much time to write such orgy of tribal hatred, why don't you just campaign for secession? Look at the response Bonka Ebiri gave the man. He says, let me give you a proverb. The lion does not leave the jungle for the deer. If you have an issue with your position in Nigeria, blame it on your ancestor that refused secession clause. So they know very well that they cannot do with Igbo people. They use the excuse of Agi Ronsi and Zeke not supporting secession of Nigeria. They use it as an excuse to perpetrate their evil on the Igbo people. After you deprive some people from getting voters card, you deprive them from voting, you are coming out with a useless statement saying that the Igbos don't have voting bloc. You don't need Igbo votes to win an election. During Obasanjo period, that I registered for my voters card, Obasanjo's period, where they started giving people their voters card was at the polling booth. The polling booth where I was living, that was where they called us to come and collect our voters card. Every polling booth had national ID card and voters card given to people at the polling booth. Now, they were not planning against the Igbos. The subjugation of not allowing Igbos get voters card was not available then. Now, when APC came into power, that Buhari said a lot of things about the Igbo, that he got 3% voting from the Igbo and everything, blah, 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 blah. There was a plan, because the speculation I'm speculating now, look at it. There was a plan to make sure that you reduce the voting power of the Igbo people. Now, under a Buhari and APC, which did not get support from the Igbo, they started their voter education, voter registration exercise, people had to locate the INEC headquarters to go and collect their voters card. It got to a point. It became so stressful, especially in the southeast. In the north, they started giving people their voters card in their houses. But in the southeast, politics and politicians that are evil, they played that politics to the extent that thousands of people wanted to collect their voters card in the southeast. They just put 1 or 2 INEC officials there. Reluctant, they'll just be so reluctant. But in the southwest here, if your name starts with Ade, you are surely going to get your voters card. But most people that I know that their name starts with Chukuma, they found it difficult to get their voters card. They will tell them, go to the head office, blah blah blah. You planned it to reduce the voting power of the Igbo people, and you now turn around to come and say you don't need Igbo votes to win. May God help you. Some of you are religious and you go to church or mosque, and you know the machinations of an APC. When this regime came into power, they started all this propaganda campaign, Igbo hate. Under this regime, we saw Igbo must go. We saw all sort of attacks on social media. Some people were pushing for Igbo hate. And the next Sunday or the next Friday, they will go for Juma. The next Sunday, they'll go to church. The church that me, I'm going, and the God that I'm serving, the Bible that I'm reading. You can never be an APC member, support, and don't speak. If you're an APC member, you have good intentions, and you don't speak against the evil in that party, you can never be a Christian. A Christian cannot be an APC member. Because the evil machinations of these people is unprecedented. I believe that Tinubu is not an Omoluabi. I was born in Alausa. I grew up in Lagos. I lived among the Yoruba people. In Alausa, secretariats, barracks. I grew up amongst Yoruba people. I mostly grew up amongst deeper life people, Yoruba deeper life people. And I saw what Omoluabi ethos and ethics were about. I saw it in them. I saw very, very, very decent Yoruba people. Decent Yoruba people. If I compare them with these people, these charlatans in power that are perpetrating all sort of evil with their evil supporters, I can never call Tinubu and the APC party a Yoruba party. The Yoruba Omoluabi that I know that are still alive today, even though they are not that many, or they are many, but they are not that outspoken, like someone that just come on Twitter and start showing their evil. A supporter of APC will come and tell me that he's an Omoluabi. You will tell me that I am an Omoluabi. Let's focus. If you said you don't need Southeast votes to win elections in Nigeria, how did Obasanjo get the support of the Southeast and won election? How did Yar'Adua get support of the Southeast and won election against the same Buhari? How did Jonathan also won an election with the support of the Southeast? Buhari is saying that he told Tinubu that he got an Igbo voice. Getting an Igbo voice is different from getting the support of the Southeast. You people should use your sense. Getting an Igbo voice is different from getting the support of the Southeast. If you like, bring Orji Okalu today. Nobody is supporting Orji Okalu from the Southeast. So if you want to talk, let your sense talk. And if you're an elderly person, look at all the indices, all the odds on ground before you start coming on social media and start spewing hatred against the Igbo people. Or go around the 36 states. First 4 major tribes, you see the Igbos there. If the Igbos would, normally when they did the last election, they found a way to give you excuses that there are glitches. There's nothing these people cannot do. I've given you an example of how during Obasanjo's regime, how voters' cards were disputed, and everybody no problem with voters' cards distribution. But under an APC and under a president that hated the Igbos, they made sure that certain regions had difficulties in getting their voters' card, so that they will not have the power to vote. Yet they were still disappointed in Lagos. The Yorubas also helped in Obi trashing Tinubu. That is history. Whether they like it or not, whether they are angry with the fact that Obi trashed Tinubu, that is That is the fact. You cannot write the Igbos out in Nigerian politics. You know why? The reasons why the country would never ever get better is when you push these guys out. Okay, look at Google. Most spoken languages, the population of the Igbos. Look at the population of the Igbos. The population of the Yorubas. Look at Google. Population of the Hausas. Population of the Fulani. When you look at this, you not open your mouth and say you don't need Igbo votes to win. No, you created a system, a bias system, that will deprive the Igbo man from exercising his franchise. You created it. And you are a Muslim or you're a Christian and you are saying all these things. You created it to deprive the Igbo man from exercising his franchise, election, vote, power. And you now come around to say that you don't need Igbo votes. That means you're an evil person. You're an evil incarnated person. See, if you don't need Igbos, allow them go. I've said it. Some people might not like what I'm going to say. I've said it. The Yorubas need Igbos in Lagos. Whether you like it or not, you need Igbos in Lagos. See, all these people that are speaking on social media, they are talking their own. They're just spewing rubbish from. We are on the streets. We are meeting people day by day. We know the Igbos have their excesses, which I hate. If you see me, if the way I do and behave sometimes, you might not believe I'm Igbo. Some people don't believe I'm Igbo. Igbo have some attitudes and characters, excesses that are appalling. We know that. But despite that, every tribe has their own negatives and positives. Despite that, the Yorubas still find a way to relate with Igbos. It is the APC cancer. The APC cancer. I don't see Tinubu as a Yoruba person or someone that represents the Yoruba people. If you see it so, that's your opinion. I'm telling you my own opinion. Tinubu does not represent the Yoruba people. He is representing the political charlatans. You think you have political leaders in Yoruba land. You understand that Lagos is booming. There's many people. You understand that. But look at the lifestyle, or look at the benefit it brings to the average Yoruba youth. They are creating a divide between the rich Yoruba. The Yorubas, they will get rich, while the others are paupers. That is the kind of leaders you have in the southwest part of Nigeria. You see all those Lekki houses they are building, all those houses. After the River Niger, that they divide mainland and island. An average Lagosian who is a Yoruba cannot afford what Tinubu say he brought, the development he brought into Lagos, in the island. An average Yoruba man cannot afford it. See, as much as you call the Igbos, he said something. The East does not have the card to pull the weight it had in the First Republic, when two of the three Wazobias can team up against one to win an elections in Nigeria. Okay, southern Nigeria. He's saying that the only people now that have the votes that you can align with are the South. Okay? When you call Southwest, you call Yoruba. When you call Southeast, you call Igbo. If you call Southwest, what name will you call? The First Republic had all these people lumped into one place, and they're all Igbo. Igbo is a nationality. Igbo is a nationality. I speak Igbo. I speak Abriba. I speak Uzo. Igbo is a nationality. The plan and machinations against the Igbo people, because after the war they decided to do so many things to divide them, to stop them from coming together as a bloc, to muzzle themselves as they did under Ojukwu. Gowon and Co and Abacha and Co started splitting Igbo into different states, former Southeast region, and this was their plan. Despite that fact, the Igbos were still making headway in Nigeria. Look at a P2B, a free and fair elections, a free and fair election. As at 2023, a normal free and fair election, a P2B will floor. As at 2023, see, if I say a P2B will floor Tinubu, I don't know about 2027. I don't know about that. But as at that 23, if they allow the election to go free and fair, man, even we have allegations that okay, Labour Party rigged, PDP rigged, because we have had this argument here and there every day. PDP rigged, then APC rigged. You will not compare what Labour Party rigged to what APC itself rigged, especially in Lagos. They had to cut it. They find a way to cut it so that it will not be as if Obi beats Tinubu with a large margin. They so delayed. Many people were attacked. Many obedience were attacked. How many APCs were attacked? If not for the people that came to attack people, the people that were attacked in APC were people coming to attack people, advocates coming to attack people in their estate, that they defended themselves. These are the only people that were attacked. But the obedience that went to vote were attacked by the thugs that were attacking people. Don't let anybody gaslight you. You understand? You see, if you don't get Igbos involved in whatever that is happening in Nigeria, you see, these guys say they are less concerned. I've seen it in their face. They are less concerned. Me, I'm concerned with my region. I'm concerned that we build a formidable Southeast. We speak with one voice, and when it gets to that point, we speak with one voice. We now demand exit from Nigeria. That's it. Because looking at what this Mr. Bonka Ebri is saying, he's trying to belittle the relevance of the Igbo, not only in Nigeria, but in Africa and the world. There's no town in the world you don't see an Igbo person, and you are belittling that person. You people planned. You make sure you plan that these guys, you reduce their voting power. It was your handwork. All things being equal, the Igbos aligning with any candidate in Lagos with their population can remove anybody. All things being equal. Why is it that the Lagos state government is trying to do a lot of legislation to limit non-indigenous from having the power to decide who is the political head in Lagos state? Why? If these guys are not that important, why is it that Lagos state is fighting tooth and nail not to have an Igbo representative in the Lagos State House of Assembly? Go to the House of Assembly now. They made sure. How did they make sure? They manipulated the electoral process. The person who is INEC corrects Yoruba. The 2023 elections, at the point they changed the INEC officials. They removed most Igbo people and put Yoruba people because they had a plan. Are you listening to all these guys with excuses? They will bring a lot of excuses. Is it not in line with the law? And the INEC commissioner wants to work with people that he's his right to work with people. They are perpetrating evil by changing INEC commissioners that will do the bidding of the riggers, the election riggers in Lagos. Man, it's so disheartening. What is most disheartening is that most Igbo people that I know that went to collect their voters card came back complaining that they could not give us. The proportion of those complaining were very few from the proportion of the others that were Yorubas or other tribes, which is not Igbo. They're complaining. And you come and tell me, APC that won election, is it not with the help of the propaganda? You know, US aid now, US aid, so many things are being exposed. How some Nigerians were used or they collaborated to destroy the country, one of the fastest growing economy under Obama. Some people became an asset in the hands of foreign influences to destroy a regime that was moving at a pace. They wanted to remove subsidy at that point in time. They knew that if they had removed subsidy, then Nigeria would be, it would have been easier for us to come out of this recession we find ourselves today. But the same people that were opposing, they were pushing bring back our girls, they were pushing Ojota riot and crusade. Most of them are quiet now because they are in government, and the same thing they opposed is what they are implementing. And these are the people you trust leadership, put inside their hand. You carry the treasury of the nation, put it inside their hand. I have met Yoruba people. Tinubu, for me, is not an Omoluabi and does not represent the Yoruba people. If you like, because of your screwedness, because of your person, attribute a Tinubu to the Yoruba people. Tinubu and co and all these leaders would all of them would die one day, and they'll be all forgotten, and the Yoruba race still continues. What legacies are these people bringing for the Yoruba people? Power is transient. Because you're in power now, don't you know that tomorrow things can change? Because you're in power now, you can say all sort of things and do all sort of things and you think is normal. You support evil and you think it's normal. The Igbos are saying that they don't care about presidency. Let us go. You refuse them from going. Okay. You are afraid that if they go, should we use 5 plots of land? Let our 5 plots of land go. You refuse them. You are giving a proverb that if the deer want to live, the lion. When the deer wants to leave, when Nnamdi Kanu wants to leave, when everybody they were trying to leave, why stop them? Since you don't need their vote, since you don't need them, why stop them from leaving? It's just hypocrisy. These people don't have integrity. These people, because of politics, they have destroyed their own Omoluabi ethos and ethics and morals. There are so many millions of Yorubas that are still Omoluabis, that are not part of the APC. The APC is a cancer, and a canker worm to the future of this Nigeria that is a mere geographical expression by Awolowo and by Tinubu, who says, I don't believe in one Nigeria. The APC, it will be the party that will eventually destroy the country with all this propaganda, all these things they are pushing against the Igbo people. If you don't involve the Igbo people in Nigerian affairs, forget about any good thing in Nigeria.